19-year-old unidentified man was shot dead by police last night in an armed offenders call-out to a central Auckland home. Circumstances surrounding the incident are unclear, but there is a suggestion the dead man had a history of mental illness. Our reporter Susan Spencer gives us the background.
Thank you, Bridget. I'm standing outside the house in Valley Road, Mount Eden, where the tragedy occurred. Now, details are sketchy at this stage, but it appears that late last night the police were notified of a disturbance. The occupant apparently was holding his girlfriend hostage and had threatened to kill her. Then he let her go. A neighbour, Mrs. Joyce Meadows, had this to say.
It was quite scary. Police surrounded the whole house. There was police everywhere. The street was cordoned off. They were wearing commando-type suits. We couldn't see anything, but we heard the shot.
Did you know the man?
If it was the guy I thought it was, he was a real nice bloke. I used to see him down the local dairy. Nothing like this has ever happened in this street. It makes you wonder how safe you are in your home.
We invited the local mental health services to comment, but they declined. However, Tony Blows of the Police Association was available. How do the police view the situation, Tony?
It's always a tragedy when a life has been lost. Police officers are in the line of fire day and night. There has been a suggestion that this man was a psychiatric patient. Often we have to deal with people in the community who are mentally ill and unpredictable and possibly should be hospitalised rather than on the street. Sometimes dealing with these people detracts police from doing effective law enforcement work, which is our core business. We will, however, be investigating the events around this incident to find out the facts.
Thank you, Tony. We'll bring you more on the story as it comes to hand. We cross back now to Bridget for the rest of today's news.
Several people have come out condemning factors around last night's police shooting in central Auckland. The dead man has been identified as Trevor Langford. The anti-gun lobby were the first to comment. Susan Spencer has more.
Thank you, Bridget. Yes, Murray Jones from the organisation No Guns New Zealand is here to represent his members' views. Murray, I believe you have strong views on the New Zealand gun laws.
I think what we saw last night is what happens when the gun laws are relaxed and the police are given licence to shoot first and ask questions later. I'm not even sure of the full story here, but it seems excessive to me that a group of armed police can raid the house of one mentally ill man, who you must remember had already let go of his hostage.
The opposition MP for Health, Mr John Gardner, had this to say about the incident from his office in Parliament buildings.
What happened last night is just another example of how the mental health services in this country have been run down. The present government have done nothing to mend the cracks in the system. Quite frankly, it's a disgrace. So much money has been spent in this area for very little return. How many more inquiries and reports do we need in the mental health sector before we get some positive action? Furthermore, the actions of the police yesterday evening need to be questioned. Do you think they really needed to shoot to kill?
Dr Adam Forrester is a psychiatrist from Forensic Health Services. Dr Forrester, isn't it your responsibility to ensure that tragedies like this do not occur?
Look, Susan, I'm not particularly aware of the details of this incident, but I can comment on two things. Firstly, mental health services do not receive sufficient funding. They are only funded at 60% of the minimum benchmark required to adequately care for people with a mental illness. Secondly, mental health service staff can identify some factors that predict whether someone with a mental illness is more likely to commit a violent crime. For instance, non-compliance with medication, but we cannot predict everybody's behaviour. What we can do, though, is offer our best clinical judgment on all the information that is available.
With me is Gillian Drummond, a spokesperson for a family support group in Auckland. Gillian, what are your thoughts?
This is outrageous, Susan. How many more people have to die because our mental health system is in a mess? Families aren't told about their sons and daughters' mental health problems. We're not included in treatment plans when in fact we can help. Heads need to roll. Someone has to be held accountable. You know, we need to open the institutions again. Let's face it, some people need long-term residential care. This whole thing just goes to prove that community care simply isn't working.
It seems that some people, at least, are making a strong plea for bringing back institutional care. The big psychiatric institutions, such as Craigley Psychiatric Hospital, have all largely been closed down in New Zealand as part of the government's community care policies. Is this really what the New Zealand public wants?
Last week we brought you news of a fatal shooting in central Auckland. The dead man was Trevor Langford, who allegedly was suffering from a mental illness. He was shot by police after a domestic dispute. Just to hand, the manager of Central Auckland Mental Health has come out to say that this man was not known to their services. In addition, a spokesperson from a national health organisation has given us this statement. An extensive check into Trevor Langford's background has revealed that he did not in fact have a history of psychiatric illness and did not have treatment at any mental health service. No doubt the current police inquiry will uncover the true facts surrounding this incident.
I don't know why you said you loved me, oh, I don't know why I thought you cared, but all I know is I've got a broken heart, and that is what I'm living with. I don't know why I thought you liked me, oh, it must have been something